So we continue our wonderful interviews with fascinating people here at France Digitale Day, which is an ecosystem event. France Digitale, which maybe we'll ask Benoist to explain a little bit their mission, but as kind of the lobby and defender of what's going on in the innovation ecosystem in France, has this fantastic event where we get to talk about things, and we're excited on French Tech News today, Chris and I, to have the co-president of France Digitale, but also I think it's chairman or founder of Eurazeo, but I'll let you explain the exact title because we actually just pulled this one off kind of last minute, so I'm poorly prepared. But we are going to catch up and have a great discussion. But Chris and Benoist, lovely to have you here and lovely to get the chance to dive in.
Hello. Hello.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So fix me there. What is your position at Eurazeo?
So I am a managing partner on the venture and growth activities. And before that, I was the founder of Idinvest, and we decided 3 years ago to join forces with Eurazeo. So now we become part of the Eurazeo group.
Excellent.
And you just changed the name officially on Idinvest to...
Yes, so Idinvest, the new name of Idinvest now is called Eurazeo Investment Manager.
It's one brand across.
Exactly, and I'm personally the CEO of Eurazeo Investment Manager, and particularly managing partner for growth and venture within the Eurazeo group.
And for our listeners who are outside of the ecosystem, they probably don't realize how influential Idinvest has been in the beginnings of the French tech and what you've done. So I don't know if there's a couple really exciting success stories that you could just throw out there, but Idinvest is really one of the key players in having helped finance the growth we see in French tech today.
Exactly. So we started back 20 years ago at Idinvest. At that time, we were called AGF Private Equity. We are part of a French insurance company. So we developed the business with my partners, and then we spun off from Allianz back in 2010 to become Idinvest. And 8 years down the road, we merged together with Eurazeo to become what we are today. So we are very proud of all the paths that we did from a very small insurance company to become part of a large private equity firm, Eurazeo. Just to give you some number, Eurazeo managing close to 25 billion euro under management within different asset class, venture, growth, debt activity, and large cap private equity. And we are a total team of about 300 people with 10 offices over the world. So we are a major player, and we are very optimistic for the future to increase significantly our asset under management.
Well, and that's probably, the evolution is probably great timing in the sense that, particularly in Europe, the last 2 years, we've seen a radical change in the funding spectrum. We were joking just before we started, but yesterday we had $1.2 billion awarded to 2 companies. That was unthinkable, I'm sure, when you started the firm, but even just a few years ago. But that really points to how the game has changed in terms of these huge international private equity, growth equity firms coming in very aggressively to back these French startups and European startups as well.
Exactly. So yesterday and today, total announcement is something like 1.5 billion, which is huge. Of course, it didn't happen yesterday. Just announcement were done yesterday just to be just on time for the France Digitale Day. So obviously, unfortunately, it's not like every day. But so the amount of money raised is just incredible. I've been in this business for the past 25 years. And the way we do operate today as compared to 25 years ago is just day and night in terms of money that we're managing, in terms of the size of the company, in terms of the growth of the company, in terms of revenue, employees, and so on. It's just incredible. So we are very proud of that. And for me, the best criteria to show that the French tech is real. Is that more and more, not more and more, all the French companies who are raising money, most of the time there is a US fund coming to invest a significant check in this company. And so for me, it's just a criteria. And also another criteria, 10 or 15 years ago, when a US fund wanted to invest in a French company, the first thing that the US fund would ask to the company was to flip the company for the French company to become a limited company, like a Delaware company, because for US people, investing in a French company, it's like for French people investing in Africa or whatever. So it was like a systematic requirement. And now, when people like GA or KKR invest in a French company, well, they invest in a French company. Yeah. So for me, it's just a signal, but it's a high sale.
And when we look at we've seen we had a couple. Unicorns aren't the end-all discussion, and in other places it's decacorns now. But still, as a sign of things, we only had 4 or 5 up until this year, and this year we've had another like 13 or so show up. But there's also so many that are French in their DNA, but that aren't based in France. So a perfect example to go with the anecdote you just gave is like Algolia, which is 2 French people who built a company, went to Y Combinator, so they flipped it to the U.S. They've built that company in the Valley. At the same time, 2/3 of their workforce is based here in Paris. It is not a French tech company, except, isn't it? And so, I think the world is probably not, the world that understands or follows the news in the innovation space probably isn't aware of how many big French-founded tech companies there are, but now there's going to come a whole wave of them that are very clearly French from France. And I think that's a super story to come to. But I'd like to maybe switch just a little bit to talk about France Digitale. This I don't know if lobby is the word that you prefer to use in English or not, but this an association that defends the actors of the innovation economy in France. And so the organizers of this event, this kind of the title of this one is Values. And last night the opening drinks were at the Minister of the Environment, at the Minister of Ecology. I think that's very interesting for a tech event to be tied to the ecological transition ministry and all that. Maybe we could talk just a little bit about why this edition is about values, and specifically this week, Sustainable Development Week.
We're pretty convinced within France Digitale that developing a company, you can develop a company with keeping the value in terms of environment for the society. So it's not either the growth of the company or taking care of the environment and the society. We can do both at the same time. And what I'm saying myself is that we are kind of lucky. I'm very lucky because I'm working in the digital industry. And thanks to the COVID, unfortunately or fortunately, the COVID was a big booster to a portfolio company. No one could have imagined, like in March 2020, which was 18 months ago, that today, at the France Digitale Day, we were announcing like 1.5 billion of money raised, like just in 3 companies, and I'm sure next week we will have other company who will be announcing some major round of financing. So we are very lucky to be on the good side, as we say in French. I was born in the right part of the periphery. So I guess we are in the right position to make sure that a lot of people can benefit from this increasing in our portfolio company by making sure that the companies that we are financing are very diverse in terms of diversity for the funding team, for the employees. We can do both at the same time. And myself, I'm a strongly believer that we can see both things at the same time without deteriorating our ambition in terms of growth in the portfolio company.
I think we're seeing a lot of, sorry, Chris,
no,
we're seeing new funds. Even one of the topics last night at the panel with Mirakl from 2050, just talking about the fact that now we're seeing impact funds and environmentally focused or sustainable development type things focused on that are not raising small amounts just to be kind of symbolic. They're raising big money thinking there's big money to be made in sustainable development, green tech, in doing things the right way. And it's a great shift, and it seems like in France there is a lot of influence placed on that within the ecosystem.
Definitely. I'm very happy to hear that all these funds were making big announcements in terms of size. Once again, it's not a small fund, and I'm pretty sure that in 10 years from now, all the major funds will have shifted to this kind of philosophy. It's not a philosophy, it's just a way to make investment. And once again, you can do both at the same time without deteriorating our IRR, internal rate of return, or deteriorating the growth of the company. So I'm a strong believer in that.
Yeah, it's interesting to follow the Tech for Good initiative that's been, I think, in place for 3 years now, which is obviously kind of a top-down initiative from the government, which we see a lot of here in France. But, when I talk to a lot of brands across different industries and different markets, you hear a similar story that from the ground up, they hear more and more from customers, particularly younger ones, who are asking about these things. What is your impact? What is your diversity goals? How, if I associate with you, buying your products, going to work for you, doing anything, that I want to know what your values are. And so they're hearing that from a groundswell, so to speak. So it seems like, in France, you particularly have two dynamics there that could be an interesting intersection if they can really leverage that.
Exactly. And for me, the tech for good, like maybe 2 years ago, it was like more like a slogan. I don't know how to say that in English. And now it's it's a strength of France Digitale. So, and when young people are working in companies, the first question they ask for the company is, what will be my mission? Will it be beneficial for the environment, for the society? Which was not the case 10 or 15 years ago. When I started working like a long time ago, it was no way I could have asked this kind of question to my employer. So it was totally nonsense. And now it's embedded, and people are getting younger. People are getting younger and younger, especially the founder are getting younger and younger. Like 10 years ago, we were financing, the youngest founders that we were financing was people in the mid-30s. Now we are financing more and more people in the mid-20s. People who were just were still in business school, who started the business in the middle of the business school, which was not the case 10 or 15 years ago. People are smarter and smarter. Of course, they are digital native, which I'm not, and I will never be a digital native, that's it.
Me neither. I'll never be on TikTok. But I can remember, when that initiative was launched, it was also interesting because the tech industry seemed like it was at a real crossroads. I came from Silicon Valley, and there was a real kind of hero worship mentality of entrepreneurs in tech. And the assumption is, innovation was driving progress. And a few years ago, there was a real question starting to emerge, a rethinking of that, wondering, is a company like Facebook or Amazon or Uber, are they really making our lives better, or are they tearing the fabric of society? And France kind of stepped in with this initiative saying, hey, let's talk about the values here. And I think many of those companies are still facing those questions in terms of, what is their impact? Are they contributing to a better world or not on many different levels? But in some ways, it seemed initially like it was a bit of a marketing thing for them to join in, but I think from there, it's really grown into a bigger discussion. You see companies like Vestiaire, that are
a good example,
genuine, tech for good, but also great businesses.
Of course, yeah. Once again, you can do both at the same time, and very proud of being part of this journey. So once again, I'm very lucky.
Yeah. It's a great time to be, I think, in innovation, whatever side of it you're on, whatever part you're contributing to. And it's a great time, I think, to be in the French tech version of innovation, because I think this ecosystem is just, it feels, for a lot of people on the outside, it feels like an overnight success, but this has been something that people have been working very hard on for a long time. And apart from Sorare, many of these big fundraisers and big notifications recently, companies that have been around for 8, 9, 10 years working. Sorare's young, but still worked very hard to get here. But it's a fun time to be in this place.
Definitely.
So just to round us out, is there anything else you'd like to add about Eurazeo, France Digitale, all the good stuff that's happening right now?
Well, we just want to keep going to make sure that the industry is still growing. So a lot of we accomplished quite a lot of things so far, and we need to continue. It's like a bicycle, you have to ride a bicycle without stopping, otherwise you're in bad shape. So
let me just follow up very quickly on that, because this is something I'm wondering. You can look at the French tech system and see these big numbers, these big checks being written. Seed rounds are really, there's a lot of new seed firms. It seems like so many of the problems on a superficial level that we talk about 4 or 5 years ago have been solved. I don't know if that's really the case, but aside from the values and tech for good, from the France Digitale perspective, or your investment side, what are the challenges facing the ecosystem? Is it talent?
It's talent. We have the money. We have a seed fund, early stage fund, a growth fund. Maybe not enough, but we have the money, and the talent is the most rare resource. So we need more talent. And you don't create talent overnight. It takes time. So, and we're in good shape.
when I think that there is that constant and continual discussion around the growth capital, but that will come. But also, when we look at the case of Sorare, it's a French company here in Paris that didn't stop SoftBank from coming in and putting in a large amount of money, and I think it was Silver Lake that was in the Mirakl round.
Exactly.
Yes, it'd be great to have more European growth capital, but it doesn't. We're seeing great examples right now that says that if the companies are worth it and they're building great things, the capital's coming anyways.
Exactly.
So it's exciting to see.
Exactly. It's a good.
Benoist, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the organization of a great event for the ecosystem here to get out and get to meet everyone and see good things.
Thank you very much for spreading the word.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you here, and we look forward to other good news about the French tech ecosystem. Thank you for joining us at French Tech News, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Ciao.